want to welcome everyone to this demonstration of how to set up row-level security with Initial SQL. Last week, I went to a meeting where a customer described that they're having an enterprise data lake and they wanted to set up security once, and then all different front-end types should just connect to it and leverage what's in there in terms of row-level security. And the technology they're using is SQL Server on Azure. So I've been using a tutorial of a guy called Manoy, and he's working for Microsoft since 7.5 years. And his tutorial talks about how to actually set up such security policies so that depending on which users log in, you're seeing different rows within that particular data set. And what I've been doing is I've basically created an Microsoft SQL Server on Azure, and I applied all the tutorial steps he did on that database. So let me briefly show you what I've been setting up. So this is my Azure account, and I set up a new server. And within that server, I have two databases, and the one I'll be using in this tutorial is my Azure DB minus TT. And the tutorial I've been talking about looks like the following. Let me just bring that up. Here you go. So this picture should look very familiar. And here you see how he's creating three different users. One is user CEO, one is user HR, one is user finance. And then he's creating a table with employees. And each of these different users we created earlier will then be a manager for a certain amount of employees. And if you walk yourself through it, it will really demonstrate you how to set up the table plus the security layers you need in order to come to such a result where, depending on which user you're executing that query as, you will see different data sets, right? So the CEO is seeing all of the data, whereas the user HR and the user finance, they're just seeing a subset of the overall amount of data. So how do you actually leverage this within Tableau then? And how to make sure that just if you are one of these users, you're getting content back? So here you see that I'm already connected to that Microsoft SQL Server on Azure. The connection is pretty basic, as this is just a server you've seen once I was showing you the front end of Azure. This is the database I've been surrounding with my red like tool over here. And then username and password is basically my technical account name on that database. Well, if I'm just logging in as that technical user, I don't see any content here. I just get content if I add that initial SQL statement, which says that I execute all of the queries as the user, Tableau server user. And down there, down on the lower right, you see that right now I'm logged into Tableau server as CEO. So therefore, this user will be pushed down to the database. So that's all of the stuff you need to do in order to publish a data source with row-level security. In this very first example, I'm the CEO, so I'm seeing all of my users or all of the employees within that data set. So if I now publish that and I open up the very same report on Tableau server, then you're seeing it's user specific, it's a user specific view, so I don't see like any preview. But once I log in, and in this example I'm logged in as the as any finance individual, you're seeing that I just see two different employees. Well, very same report, just a different user would show me something different. So let me sign out here. And at this point in time, I'm logging as user HR. And I navigate to the very same report. And you remember last time I've seen 2 employees, which are working in the finance industry, in the finance department, sorry. And now I see 3 different individuals who are all working in an HR department. Okay, that's basically the demonstration of it works, what we've been setting up with Initial SQL. Now, let me connect as a totally new user within Tableau Desktop. I want to analyze data within my enterprise data lake. So therefore, I'm logging in to a Tableau server because I don't care which technology the data lake is based on, and it could be multiple different ones. And I'm logging in as user finance again. And now I will see all the different data sources I'm allowed to connect to. So let's connect to Azure row level security. So the one you've been seeing in my first step when I connected to it and where I was showing the initial SQL statement. At this point in time, there is no initial SQL statement because it's all happening on Tableau server, or to be more precise, this is now Tableau desktop. I'm connecting to a data source called Azure RLS, and that will push down the query to, and that is supposed to be a cloud on Azure. So there's the database on Azure, and yeah, all the different security stuff is then happening really on the database, right? So Tableau is really just acting as a proxy to push down the SQL statement. And now, I mean, I basically get what I was asking for. I see all the different employees of like the manager who's working in finance. Maybe 2 things to help you to speed up the setup for you. So I had an issue at the very beginning. So when you're setting up that connection and you get like an error by connecting to it, it's probably because of the fact that you're using an older SQL driver. So when you're Googling for the error you're getting, in that particular case, it will tell you, please deinstall all the old Microsoft SQL drivers. And that was solving the issue for me, installing the latest version ones, and everything was working fine. With that said, I think you should be ready to go. Keep in mind that, yeah, there's material out there like the blog of Manoy, which helps you to set up a sample environment. If there's anything else I can help you with, please reach out to me, and I'm looking forward to get your feedback. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.